With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, a weekly podcast about movies, part of the Western Media Podcast Network. Now, I realize there are literally hundreds of podcasts out there about this topic, but I feel we have something special here, something unique to offer the film podcast zeitgeist. Myself and my esteemed co-hosts not only are avid fans of films, but we all are people that are actively working in the industry in one capacity or another. In a few moments, we'll all share a little bit about our background and how we know each other. But right now, it is my privilege to welcome my co-hosts, two of the Back to the Frame Rate podcast, Sam Cole and Ellie Escobar.
How you doing? Pleasure to be here. Sam Cole here.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here and be part of this awesome group.
Well,
I would even go as far as saying that it fills my heart with mirth to be here.
With what?
Mirth, like happiness, joy.
Mirth. Well, as you can see, we're going to have a lot of fun here on this show, and you're getting a little taste of the quips and the humor I think that we're going to get out of everyone. So let's get right into it. I think we're going to be a fun group of people to listen to talking about films, but like I said in our introduction, we're, not just fans of film, we're actually, people that work in the industry, and we have a kind of an eclectic background and know each other probably through maybe some unconventional ways. I'd like to have each one of us kind of give a little bit of a backstory about how we got here. And this episode's not, we are a film review podcast, but we're not actually going to get into an actual film review today. We're going to spend this first episode getting to know each other and talking about ourselves just briefly. We're going to get more into our background over the course of this show, but let's talk a little bit about ourselves briefly, because we don't want to bore our audience too quickly. But Sam, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how did you get here?
All right. Well, my name is Sam. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. I've always loved cinema, and I live in Los Angeles at the moment, but visit New England as much as I can. But in terms of getting here, I think we can say for all of us that we share a love of film and cinema and have a passion for it. I'm a writer / actor, director, and I come to New England as often as I can because I friggin' love it here, and that's the honest truth. I think I met you, Nathan, at the Rhode Island Film Collaborative. And Ellie, we met when we were in 2017. I think we were at like a Boston Actors group thing with Erica Derrickson back in
casting, actually.
Yep, Boston Casting,
yes.
Yeah, spring 2017. That was good times back in the day.
It was good times, yeah.
The world was young back then.
Hey. We're still young.
That's true. There's hope for the human race in the future, and the future is always bright. Remember that. And if you're ever feeling sad, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Keep going, never give up. This message brought to you by Coca-Cola. Anyway.
Yes, I remember we did meet at those early networking meetings for the Rhode Island Film Collaborative. Those were some good times back then. I remember. I actually will. I probably at some point speak about the Rhode Island Film Collaborative. That was. I will say that I can attribute those networking meetings to a lot of where I am today with my filmmaking career, because I met a lot of people and networked with a lot of future collaborators through those meetings. God, like 10, 12, 13 years ago. And people that I met through those meetings helped me with some of the projects that I eventually would do, including some feature films. So it was a wonderful event space, a creative space. So yeah, those good times. Ellie, tell me a little bit about you and your background a little bit more, and how did you end up here tonight, sitting across from me on a Zoom call?
Sort of like a ET phone home type of thing. You called me and you told me to come join you. No, I got on a spaceship. No, okay. Back to the frame rate. Okay. Basically, I got here because I happened to know you, Nathan, through one of your awesome films. Oh my God, you're going to kill me. Higher Methods.
I'm glad you remember. It left such a huge impression on you.
I was actually part of the dancing club scene, which I really loved. It was so much fun. And Sam, again, like he said, we met through Boston Casting, and we've kept in touch through Messenger.
Yes, that's true. We have.
Yeah. And I follow his journey to LA, to California. And I am originally from El Salvador. As you can tell, I have an accent that I'm probably never going to lose. And that's okay. I came from El Salvador very young, and I got into acting at the end of 2016.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
And I got into acting by divine intervention. Seriously, I was not planning on being an actor in the acting world, the film industry. It was always in my heart, but I wasn't in it. Yeah, so in 2016, I lived in California for a while, and I ended up going to the Kodak Theater, where the Oscars are held, and I went to see the American Idol. And at that time, I had 250 people behind me. I was with my friend. She got tickets. And I touched the wall of the theater because since I was 5 years old, I've been watching the Oscars. And I touched the wall. I closed my eyes. And I said, in 6 years, maybe 10, I'm coming back and I'm going to get me an Oscar. And my friend said, you are so crazy because you're not even an actress. Yeah, or something like that. We can always buy a fake one.
I think it's always possible.
But yeah.
They sell those on the corner of Vine and Hollywood.
By the way, Ellie, you talk about that when you were talking about Nathan's Higher Method feature film, and you were in the club scene. If I am not mistaken, you guys were shooting that January 2017. I was actually shooting my short film Bad Drones at the same time. on the same day as your club scene, and we needed tons of extras, and they were all in your freaking movie. Yeah,
we shot the club scene.
I'm not hurt, but it was tactical.
Damn it! Like Nathan took all the extras in Rhode Island. We took all of them.
I forgive you guys. We got through it, but yeah, 2 clubs, all the extras, they went to your show.
Hey,
sorry, we did not coordinate that. We did not coordinate that well.
Yeah, so I've only been in this industry for a short time, but I'm loving it, and I'm very blessed. I've been able to work in about 20 independent films and commercials and industrials in a short time. So awesome. I'm very, very blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed to know the community here in New England. What I love about this community is that we really help each other, we really do. And then we have people like Nathan that comes to knock on my door and says, "Want to be part of a podcast?" I said, "What? Are you sure?"
It's what I do. I go around, I just hand pick people, and I just set them up for these types of things,
No,
so
this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad, because when you said Sam is going to be part of it, I was.
And I had no idea you two even knew each other, really. So I'm just, yeah.
See, that's divine intervention.
Yeah.
It was the
synchronicity,
fourth.
I call it.
Synchronicity. That's it. It is synchronicity.
Yeah.
So it's like, is there a movie? Synchronicity.
It's a song by the Police, isn't it? Synchronicity and Synchronicity 2 as well.
The album, yeah. Yes, I'll just say briefly that it's already kind of been alluded to. I am a filmmaker, and I have been working as an independent filmmaker for quite some time, but I went to school in Boston. I've lived in Boston for a while. I moved out to Los Angeles, and I tried to make a go of it out there. I will not bore you with the details, but I'm a failed Los Angelian or Los Angelite. What do you call them? I don't know. But I tried to make a go of it out there. Ended up working in a lot of reality TV. And, like a lot of people that move out to LA thinking they're God's gift to Hollywood, I fell on my face. Lasted about 3 years out there, moved back to New England, where I'm from, and eventually, did my own thing. Got into short films, and eventually, through events or groups like the Rhode Island Film Collaborative, met a lot of other creative people and started doing some projects out here, and met people like Sam and Ellie, where I could make some great connections, and it just kind of is worked out that way. So I'm very thankful that I've kind of found my film family, because I realized that living and working in the Hollywood system was probably not, my jam. So I'm very happy working in this, being a small fish in a small pond is how I put it.
I definitely 100% hear you too, Nathan, about the Rhode Island Film Collaborative, because I was actually living in LA. Similar to you, was working in reality television and as a production assistant on a lot of things. Yeah. Had to come back to New England because my mother actually passed away, so I went back to help my dad. But it was actually through the Rhode Island Film Collaborative that I just went to it one night on a whim and thought, wow, this will be all right. And then I ended up meeting people that I still crew with today, people that I still work with.
Yeah, good people.
Really great. Good times.
Yeah. So,
well, I had a coach that said to me, nowadays, you don't even have to move to California to be in a film. You can do it from wherever you are.
Yeah.
So because of the internet. So
that's true. The age we live in. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So as you can hear, we're all come from, various backgrounds of the filmmaking world, but, we're not here really to talk about ourselves and our past as filmmakers and actors. We're here to talk about our love for films and movies and our passions about that. So we're going to kind of transition into that, and probably what most of our listeners are here to hear us ramble on about. So, every week our main thing is to talk about a film review. But since, we wanted to spend this particular episode having our audience kind of get to know us a little bit, we wanted to spend some time getting a feel for that. But we're going to talk about, because we're in January still, and people are probably going to be listening to this at the very beginning of February, but we want to talk about this first episode, our forecast for the movie year. And there's a lot of, we've all been dealing with this pandemic the last couple of years, and I think it's been kind of a rough go of it with movies the last 3 years or so. I mean, studios have shelved a lot of films. It's been hard to get a lot of movies done. And I feel like I'm looking at least this year and what's coming up, this might be like one of the first big years where, 2022 had a lot of big releases. There were probably 2 or 3 big ones, but this year I feel like maybe things are coming back to normal, where there's a lot of big films, I think, slated throughout the year. So I think we have a lot to talk about with what we're most looking forward to in 2023. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So how do you want to do this? We're going to just start doing like a roundtable conversation about what we're most looking forward to, what we're excited about. And I asked my co-host to just kind of come in with, 5-10 movies or so that we're really excited about. Are we all ready to get into this?
Yeah, I would say for me personally, even though it's coming out late in the year, in November 2023, one of the big, easily in my top 5 anticipated movies for this year would be Dune Part 2, Denis Villeneuve's, follow-up to Dune Part 1 and finishing the first Frank Herbert novel. And I enjoyed Part 1, and I thought it was really good. I always liked that kind of epic action-adventure, large scope. There's also kind of like a very austere nature to that film and I just thought he sort of translated the book well. So really looking forward to that. On a lighter, more, action comedy level, very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
We were gone for quite a while. But no matter what happens next, the galaxy still needs its guardians. Hello, we come in peace. Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude? No! Ow! Hey!
Don't forget where we came from.
We have been running our whole lives.
Pete, I'm done running.
I think I actually have the unpopular opinion that I actually like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 better than the first one. And across, the internet, IMDb, everything, everyone loves the first one, and the second one is less liked. I actually prefer the second film to the first. That's just maybe. I'd say that definitely John Wick Chapter 4.
Yes.
And there's more, but Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Oppenheimer could be really good, but by Christopher Nolan. And I have to admit that there's no way it can be as good as Avatar: The Way of Water, but I did enjoy the kind of cheesy epicness of the first Aquaman, so I am looking forward to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom on December 25th. So I'm looking forward to a bunch of late in the year releases, but then there's also 65 with Adam Driver.
I'm going to stop. Hold off right there, so you don't steal everyone's thunder.
Absolutely.
Let's pause right there. Let's talk about these, because you brought up some of the definitely some of the big movies right here. I'll interject. You mentioned Dune. Dune was definitely on my. I highlighted 10 films because I originally put these in tiers, I think, and I limited these to 10 films that I would put on my list. Dune was in my top 10. I think, was it come out in December of 2021? The first, it was like a little over a year ago.
October.
Yeah. I thought that film was amazing, and I don't think Denis Villeneuve has made a bad film yet. I think he has
really
maybe everything from the Blade Runner sequel, Arrival. Man, what else? Even what was the one?
Oh man, yeah.
Sicario. I think he is actually considered an underrated director too. I don't know why he's not considered, maybe like with Nolan and Fincher, so as a top 3 greatest directors right now, because I think he's just putting out fantastic work right now, a visionary right now, and I think he's brilliant. So I cannot wait for Dune Part 2. My only thing I could say, like when they made, I mean, they must have known that they were going to make this sequel to it, because when I saw Dune Part 1 and they're saying that, well, we don't know if we're going to get to make the second one. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They can't just make this standalone movie with no ending to it.
I think they had like every intention to make the second one. I think what it came down to is I think Warner Brothers wanted to see how well the first one did financially. I mean, it was a disaster. Meaning they hadn't shot it Peter Jackson style, where you're like shooting all 3 chapters before. They only shot the first one, and then they had to wait and see what happened.
I know, but like, imagine, like,
really
I would not have been surprised. That movie easily could have been a bomb though, because look at like Blade Runner. That movie I loved, and that movie was considered a bomb. Yeah. So when I read that movie was coming out and it was going to be a part 1 and they were going to hopefully make a part 2, I'm like this, I was really nervous that we were never going to see part 2 of that. And that movie was not not like a huge financial success either, as far as I know.
No, but it did decently well. I mean, it made like over $100 million in the pandemic, so it was robust enough for the studio to continue. I mean, I was nervous too when I first heard about it. It was like spring 2020 at the height of the pandemic, and it was supposed to come out, that fall. And I thought this isn't going to happen. Then it came out October 2021. And I was worried. I really wanted them to do part 2, but I was worried it wasn't going to be greenlit because I love the story. So I wanted to.
Wasn't it also a joint HBO day and date release too?
It was,
so that
and
also
there was
made me
controversy about that. Denis Villeneuve was not happy about that, which I really understand. I mean, I could kind of agree with him.
I did see it in the theater. I tried. I didn't get to see it like in actually anything like that, but I did get to see it in the theater, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, it's really meant to be a big screen. I think my this is just like zeroing in on minutia a little bit, but I think Denis Villeneuve is like really good with scope and scale and characters. And sometimes when it comes to action scenes, I feel like his style, sometimes, not all the times, usually I love it, can be a little cold. And in the novel, it ends with this huge battle where the Emperor lands in the desert. He's got this like 1/4-mile long ship. The Fremen are riding in off the worms, just this huge battle. And I hope that the battle has like up close and personal mayhem in it, a little bit of Peter Jackson style, as opposed to just this like painterly beautiful coldness, if that makes any sense. That's just me. But
curious, Sam, I'm assuming you've seen the David Lynch version. What were your thoughts on that?
The David Lynch version is wildly entertaining. I mean, I enjoy it, but it is just not a good movie. There's no way around that. And I know that it's always, important to be, constructive and kind, and, you shouldn't bash films that don't work. That being said, just the film does not work, but it has some spectacular visuals. I must say, I enjoy the villain, the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. The actor that portrayed him in the first film is way over the top and campy and just like nuts. And I enjoyed that performance a lot. But yeah, Dune, the David Lynch film, is the problem is it tries to fit the whole novel in one film, but the whole movie is exposition. So it feels like a very dry history lesson of Dune with a montage of beautiful shots, but it's not a cohesive and not a particularly entertaining film all the way through. That's just my opinion. Worth seeing, though. Definitely worth seeing. Has some spectacular moments. What do you think about the first Dune movie?
Oh, I haven't seen David Lynch's Dune in a long, long time. And I just have like just vague memories of Sting and And just it's been a long time, and I just remember I watched Children of Dune when I worked at a video store a long time. Not that, maybe it was 20 years ago. So yeah, I cannot say I'm a fan of David Lynch's Dune or the Dune franchise, the whole Dune franchise. So, but I really, when I saw that Denis Villeneuve was doing anything, I say sign me up. Well, let's move on. You mentioned so you said possibly a kind of a divisive statement about Guardians of the Galaxy, that you may like the second one more than the first one.
Yeah, and I know I can see why that would seem strange, because the first one has a great structure. It's lots of people's favorite Marvel movie. The first one is excellent.
Definitely a better soundtrack.
Exactly. For some reason, it's the tone of the second film. It's not necessarily close to Empire Strikes Back at all, but there's just a vibe. I like that it's a father-son story.
Yeah.
I like the pacing of it a lot. I just feel kind of like it thrusts you into adventure, and there's something very fresh about it that I particularly enjoy. And I tested this too. I watched the first and the second one, Guardians 1 and 2, back to back like a little while ago, just to make sure. And I still like the second film better. I love it. Great action, unbelievable visuals. I swear too, and I've never heard anyone say this, but there's a planet in that movie called Bear Hair, and it's BEHRHER, and I swear that the screenwriter was like, I need a name for the planet, and they just looked at themselves in the mirror and were like, Baher, wrote it down.
Anytime a movie is going to bring you to a world that's not your world, it's going to be a great film to watch. I actually love 1, 2, and I'm looking forward to 3. Volume 1, I think for me, has always been my favorite.
I hear that, yeah.
I think they're both fantastic, and I'll admit, I'll go back and forth on which one I like more. I think I still come back to the first one, because I think there's a heart to that first one, being introduced to those characters that still gets me. But you can't deny Baby Groot in that second one also.
Oh my God.
Performances. Kurt Russell's always great.
Kurt Russell's great in that. So I do.
I want to own Baby. I want one.
I hope that the third, that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is as visually stunning and innovative as the first two, because the trailer looked good, but obviously they're hiding a lot of like major plot secrets and spoilers. Yeah. So the trailer looks good, but and I don't mean this in a positive or negative way. It doesn't really give me any sense of what the movie will be like. No, it does a little bit.
They're holding their cards close to the vest. But I think we can all agree that we're thankful that James Gunn is involved in it. He is the director. Oh, yeah. He was not. He returned back to the franchise. But, as we all know, this is the send-off of the Guardians. And as Gunn goes, the Guardians go too. He's alluded, though, that all the actors from the Guardians franchise could follow him to the DC universe as well. Wow. So, we might see them in different incarnations on the DC side. You never know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Plus, I love the music. You can't deny that the music in
Guardians employ the best soundtracks of any of the Marvel films. So that's for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Another reason, random comment. Another reason I love the second one is, and I'm drawing a blank here, but there's a faction or a group of aliens that they come up against that are all like gold. They all look gold. They're like painted. Yes. And I can't remember, I should know what their name is, but that group of villains, technically, or adversaries, I should say, is coming back again in some capacity for the third film.
Oh, great.
Looking forward to that, because I just loved I don't know. That movie was just a roller coaster, start to finish. I was blown away by it in the theater, and it still has that same sugary, great, effect every time I've seen it since.
Okay, guys, I know you guys are not going to. I know this is going to be cheesy, but I'm looking forward to seeing 80s for Brady.
Somehow I knew you were about to mention that film. You sent me the telepathic thought. I just got a picture of that in my mind, Ellie. You said, I was like, I knew she was going to talk about that.
I always look forward to seeing comedy, and I feel a good movie, and if Brady's in there, it's
you
good
got some
look
of
into
the
my
past
eyes.
Patriots in there.
Also,
Gronkowski's in there.
Yeah.
I think Danny Amendola's in there. You got it's got some cameos. It's got some the eye candy.
We should do a revolutionary podcast concept where we go to the theater and watch it together, but bring all the audio equipment to the theater and have the podcast while we're watching the film and absolutely annoy the hell out of everyone there. That would be.
But I really like to see the four ladies that they're in.
Well, the legends. Jane Fonda,
Sally,
Rita Moreno,
Lily,
Lily Tomlin, and Sally Field. Sally Field's only 76, so I think that's false advertising. She is not over 80. I had to go and check. The only one that is everyone else is over 80, I believe, but Sally Field, I feel bad that she's being pegged for somebody over 80.
And Jane Fonda looks so great at her age.
85 years old, Jane Fonda. And she's got, I think, 4 movies coming out this year. Something like that. So she is working.
I only aspire to be
Can't wait to be 85, actress. Huh, Ellie? Yeah. And be working as much as she is.
Not yet.
Oh, God.
I look forward to seeing those 4 ladies together, see what they do.
Well, I know that I will be there sometime in the next week or two because, my wife cannot wait to see 80 for Brady as well. I've been told that I have to see it.
I must say that speaking of like movies that you're excited about that you feel guilty about, I'll be honest, the child in me is 1,000% excited for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
So as soon as Bowser appeared, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, the woman in me is looking forward to seeing Magic Mike.
Magic Mike's Last Dance, and that's the Steven Soderbergh's return to the franchise.
What did you want before Miami?
I just wanted to escape my life. Do you like bartending?
It's not really what I do.
What is it that you really do? But then you came along and gave me this unexpected, magical moment that made me remember who I really was. Come with me to London. Let's go.
Why are you in London?
I'm gonna put on a show at this famous theater.
People are numb, disconnected. We're gonna wake them up with a wave of passion they've never felt before.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part 3, right? Weren't there 2 before?
Yes, Magic Mike XL, which I never saw the second one. The first one was pretty good actually. I actually liked the first one.
I remember the first one. Yeah, liked the first one. I didn't see the second one either.
No.
I've seen them both, so I am looking forward to
you highly recommend all
I
of
highly
them.
recommend, ladies, if you're watching. Let's all go together. Let's make it a night.
Now, is it okay for me to go see Magic Mike's Last Dance by myself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
You can learn some dance moves and then come back home and,
My wife would appreciate this, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. A great Valentine's Day movie. I'm assuming, yes.
Absolutely. But I saw a preview of help me with this name. Beau is Afraid.
Beau is yes.
Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
I've heard of that. I don't
and that's Ari Aster, who has a pretty good track record with Midsommar and what was the one before that? Hereditary.
Yeah, exactly.
Two very disturbing horror movies. I guess you call them horror movies.
Because I love Phoenix,
By the way, a total glaring omission that I accidentally
You're
left
using
out.
up all of your picks right now. One fell swoop, Sam. I just want you to know you're. I'm gonna have to cut you off, but go ahead. Yes, I'm only kidding.
It's true. No, I was going to say I forgot to mention Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's a huge film. I hope it's good. I have no idea what to expect. You know, again, decent trailer.
What is your theory on what the dial is?
I think, to me, it has something to do with time travel. Dial of Destiny is in, pushing forward and winding back the clock.
That's all I'm thinking. That's why you see all the aging of Harrison Ford. I think the dial is him going back, and I don't think it's flashbacks. I think he actually might be going back in time or something. He's de-aged because the dial is making him younger.
I think that's very possible. There was someone said that there might be like a de-aged Harrison Ford in the prologue sequence, but they could also too be covering that up and saying, that, I mean, to me, Dial of Destiny sounds, just because it's a dial, it just sounds time travelish. I just, there were rumors about that.
So, do you think this is in the same universe as what's the Jack Black movie with the Pick of Destiny?
I think that those movies are like in two different multiverses.
I heard something that this is possible that they are connected somehow. Because I also think that there's too much of a connection. The Pick of Destiny and the Dial of Destiny, and
if they were connected and Jack Black had a huge role and it was like him and Indiana Jones jamming to it, that would be the craziest movie ever, and I would be sitting there smiling because I'd say, well, this is not what I expected, but I am entertained.
So, Ellie, give me two more movies right now before Sam steals them all that you're looking forward to, so I can have a couple to mention.
This is Houston.
I lost you for a second.
Yes, I was asking. Give me a couple more that you're looking forward to this upcoming year.
Well, I'm looking forward to Oppenheimer, obviously, because it's Christopher Nolan, and he isn't gonna miss a thing. He's not gonna miss a thing, and I love that.
Did you like his last? Did you like Tenet?
Of course, it was during the pandemic, and I went to the theater. Everyone, I cannot watch a Christopher Nolan film on TV. I'm sorry. I actually have to go to the theater and watch it in the big screen with the big sounds because it's not the same on regular TV.
I actually have to say, I don't know if I have missed a Christopher Nolan movie in the theater ever. I mean, I have.
See?
Probably not.
I loved Insomnia. Not 2002.
You loved Insomnia.
Yeah, Al Pacino and
I know.
It's funny, when I saw it in the theater, I was not that impressed, and that movie grew hugely on me over the years to the point where I watch it now and I love it. The screenwriting, the acting, and I can understand why. I remember what it felt like first watching it and not being blown away, but that movie has just really grown on me. And by the way, Nathan, I agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of Tenet either, but just want to throw that out there.
I just remember watching Insomnia 20 years ago, and I just felt cold and tired watching it. But
that's the thing. That's how I felt when I first saw it in the theater.
I remember. Tenet. Sorry, but Insomnia outside of Tenet, Insomnia I think is the only Nolan movie I have probably not rewatched. And I want to correct that because
again, it's worth it. Yeah.
I do mean to correct that at some point because I think it does deserve a revisit. Because I love Robin Williams when he's playing against type, and I think I may have missed. I feel like I did miss something in that. Now, I did watch. Have you ever seen the original? Was it Swedish, Norwegian?
I haven't seen that. I've only heard good things, but I haven't seen the original.
Yeah, I did. I remember I was working in a video store at the time, and I remember it was only a few years before Insomnia came out. I think that might have been Stellan Skarsgård that was in the original, like in '97 or '98 or so. The thing is, though, I liked about as much as I liked Insomnia, so it wasn't like anything better.
No, I don't think I've seen Insomnia either.
Yeah,
I think the reason I like Insomnia is because I mean, without I'm not going into spoilers or anything, but Al Pacino's situation
it's a 20-year-old movie, so
yeah, but I mean, well, yeah, true. I mean, but his character situation is so intense, claustrophobic. The fun of that movie, the entertainment value, is seeing his character struggle and try to find a way out of just the mess that he's gotten himself into, and it's intense.
So now I'm gonna have to watch.
Psychological thriller. It's a good psychological thriller. That's it.
Yeah. Speaking of psychological thrillers, there are two that are on my list, and I want to knock at the cabin. I know that probably some people are like, another Shyamalan movie, but I really like his film, and I've seen previous. I don't know. Looks okay, but I still want to see it because it's just caught my attention. It
intrigued me a little bit too, because it looked like the trailer had some grandeur in it. Like, yes, there's an intense situation at the cabin, but then I saw this gigantic shot of the tsunami, and I thought, wow, how does that fit in? Now I kind of want to see this.
My name's Leonard. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Why are you here?
I suppose I'm here to make friends with you. And your dad's too. But my heart is broken.
Why is it broken?
Because of what I have to do today.
There is a woman carrying something that looks like a pick with a chain and a mallet in it.
See, the four of us have a very important job to do. In fact, it might be the most important job in the history of the world.
Anything apocalyptic, I'm there. Anything about space, I'm there. And I also want to see the Leave the World Behind. That's from director, what's his name? Sam Schmale, if I'm saying it right. He's the creator of Mr. Robot.
Oh.
And I loved Mr. Robot.
Okay.
Interesting.
And that's based out of a book, and it's a thriller, a psychological. I believe Julia Roberts, it's in that film, and it's all about these two families, and I'm not gonna give it away, but it's just it looks of the times. You know how we were going through the pandemic and the way people behaved.
Right.
Yeah. So it's two families that are going through some apocalyptic time as well. And
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Interesting. It sounds like it could be, I've heard vaguely a little bit about it. I don't know much, but it does sound intriguing for sure.
Yeah, and they have to coexist with each other. The two families have to coexist.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm going to step in here and mention a couple films that I'm really looking forward to. And maybe since you guys stole a little bit of my thunder, already. I am going to mention, well, first of all, I'm going to say a few that were already talked about. I definitely am looking forward to Dune Part 2 and Oppenheimer for sure. But one that hasn't been mentioned yet that I have to say, I think it's only coming to Netflix, and that's Killers of the Flower Moon, the new movie from Martin Scorsese. Yes. I think that's coming out.
Is that not getting a theatrical? I was hoping that would get a theatrical release, but is it just
It might be like one of those things where it's limited. You know, Netflix, what they do, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Leave the World Behind is also going to be releasing on Netflix, not theatrical.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I know almost nothing about this film, is what I will say. All I know is that you've got Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by Martin Scorsese, and it takes place in the 1920s. IMDb says Killers of the Flower Moon. Members of the Osage tribe in the United States are murdered under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s, sparking a major FBI investigation involving J. Edgar Hoover. That's all I know. I don't think really anybody knows much about this film, but sign me up. Anything that Martin Scorsese does, I'm on board with that.
I mean,
I know nothing. I know it's the novel by David Gran, but I haven't read it. I don't know nothing yet.
But
Jesse Plemons is in it too. He's a great actor.
Something else I'm really looking forward to this year. Now, I don't know where you guys stand on Taika Waititi. I loved Thor: Love and Thunder. I wasn't. No, on Ragnarok. Not so much on Love and Thunder, but I love Jojo Rabbit. But he's got an original movie coming out later this year called Next Goal Wins. I think it's a comedy, which I am really looking forward to because I think his original stuff is hysterical. I loved What We Do in the Shadows and, like I said, Jojo Rabbit. So this is another film that I am really looking forward to. This is... Let me pull this up for one quick second. All I know about this...
Did you watch his series in Hulu?
No, I didn't, because I didn't get Hulu until a couple months ago. But this is basically, it follows the infamously terrible American Samoa soccer team known for a brutal 2001 FIFA match. They lost 31-0. And it's got Michael Fassbender in it, and Elizabeth Moss, and Will Arnett. So that's just an interesting cast.
Yeah.
And he's doing something that's out of the Marvel universe. So I am looking forward to that. And that's called Next Goal Wins. And that's coming out this spring, I believe.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
I missed that.
Yeah. So another thing I'm really looking forward to now. Here's the thing: Greta Gerwig has, I think, done 2 really, really amazing films already. She did Lady Bird, and she did her version of, why am I blanking all of a sudden? She did her version of Lady Bird, and I'm sorry. This is what happens on a first episode. and Little Women. But she's got a movie coming. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh because this is not something when I didn't know she was doing this, I completely dismissed this, and I thought this was just like an IP grab. But she is directing, and her husband, I believe, wrote and co-wrote this movie called Barbie. Now, you're laughing at this. You're laughing at this. But Noah Baumbach, I love. And when I saw, anytime they collaborate, I didn't love White Noise, but Francis Ha, Mistress America, Greenberg, all their style of filmmaking is completely up my alley. And I saw the trailer for this. I don't know if you saw it. It's really more of a tease, and they're shot for shot doing like a remake of like 2001 in this little tease. So I don't know what this movie is going to be, but I think it's going to be kind of like in like the vein of like the Lego movie type of thing.
Yeah.
So I am just more curious than anything what this is going to be. And this comes out, I think, July 14th or something around there. So this is going to be like a big tentpole movie. So it's something that I am more curious about than possibly excited about. But the fact that she's involved in this and she's coming off of these two, I think, amazing projects, diving into this film with Noah Baumbach is just fascinating to me. So Barbie is something I will say that I am extremely curious about. And I will mention one more before I pass the torch on to the next person. And let's see, so last year, my favorite movie of the year until I saw Babylon, because Babylon was my favorite movie of last year. I feel like we are on the cusp of the Nicolas Cage essence right now. Because I loved so much The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I thought it was the greatest thing I've ever seen last year. And I think we're about to see the next level Nicolas Cage phase of his career, where he is going to come back in like a level of films that is going to rival, like, you're not going to see Leaving Las Vegas Nicolas Cage again. You're not going to see Face Off. Maybe we will see finally Face Off too, but we're going to see some great work from this Nicolas Cage. Maybe the next great slew of films from him are about to come out. And the movie that really has me excited is Renfield.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you okay? I need to get out of a toxic relationship.
Why don't you start by telling us what brought you here?
My boss, he's different.
You can't get him out of your head.
No.
I need your assistance.
I'm coming, Master!
Oh, you feel like he could destroy you with the snap of his fingers?
Wouldn't even need to snap. Okay.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, what?
Renfield, bring in innocent victims. I want a handful of nuns, a busload of cheerleaders.
And I just want a normal life again. But this modern world is a dangerous place.
Thank you. You saved my life. Did I watch you cut a guy with a decorative serving platter?
It's in the wrist.
Heard about that.
Directed
Very
by
little about it.
It's from Chris McKay. It's Nicolas Cage as Count Dracula, which is a great callback to like his early.
I saw the trailer of that actually. That looks hilarious. Yeah, fascinating.
As Count Dracula, and Nicholas Hoult plays Renfield in this. And I think Chris McKay is a really great director as well. So Renfield comes out later this year. So there's just some really interesting films, very eclectic bunch of films that I'm looking forward to this year. And that's just 5 or 6 of them that kind of get my juices going right now, and I can keep going on. But you guys already mentioned several of them already. Definitely Knock at the Cabin. Oh, the one Marvel film. There's like 3 or 4 Marvel films coming out, but Guardians of the Galaxy I'm excited about. But I actually really am excited for Ant-Man. Yeah, of all the Marvel films, that only comes out in a few weeks. I think that this is where Phase 5 begins, and I think we're going to see big things from this Ant-Man movie. It's going to be the best Ant-Man yet. So that is
The trailer looks like very good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I've seen the trailer a couple times.
We could talk for a long time on Marvel, I'm sure, and in the pitfalls of Phase 4, because I have some issues with it. But
I will say very briefly, I forgot to mention John Wick Chapter 4. Huge fan of the John Wick films.
Okay, me too.
Can't wait for the 4th one.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm beside myself waiting for John Wick 4.
3 is my favorite ones so far.
One of those films that I just enjoy.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's Keanu Reeves. He's like Hollywood likable actor.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the world, everybody loves him, and he's just a kind person. And so, but don't forget, we have what's his name there, the martial arts guy. He's like the leader of martial arts. He's like, what the heck is his name?
In the Wick franchise.
On John Wick 4.
John Wick 4.
Donnie Yen.
Is Donnie Yen in it?
Yeah, Donnie Yen is in there.
Wow. Yes, he is.
I mean, and I freaking love anything boxing or martial arts. I am there.
Nobody brought up Creed 3 then.
Oh, well, no, it's on my list. Creed 3. It's there.
I have a little, my pile of shame of films, and I have not seen Creed 2 yet, so I'm trying to correct that before I see Creed 3, obviously. I like Creed a lot, a decent amount, and I don't know why Creed 2 slipped through the cracks, but I'm going to get to it. Too many movies.
One weekend, I spent a whole weekend watching Rocky movies.
Wow.
I love the Rocky movies.
Me too. And the Creed movies too. So it's like, isn't this like the last one? It's gonna be the last one, right?
Probably until they make the Ivan Drago series or Clubber. They'll have soon, right? Right? Paulie.
What are you talking about?
All the side characters. They got it like.
Oh yeah.
Mickey. They gotta make the Mickey origin story. They do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. No. Hello. Anyone? All right.
Oh man.
I just ran into my microphone.
All right. Any other?
You know what? There's another one.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man movie.
Across this.
The animated one.
Yes. Is it Across or Into the Spider-Verse? This one.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man. Yes, that one looks really.
No, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
And I believe this is going to be part 1 of 2. I think. I'm sure it's going to be a self-contained, but they're going to make 2 of these, which is.
Did you see that? Did you see the first one?
Yeah, it was great.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like loving this film.
That was a great one. Yeah, possibly the best Spider-Man movie ever made. A lot of people would argue. Yeah, yeah, they were really good.
What about Spider-Man 3?
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I got my daughter who's 11 now. I got her to watch all the Spider-Man movies about a year and a half ago. We watched all the MCU movies, but I actually got her to go back and watch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. We watched all of them, but I couldn't get her for some reason to make the leap into the animated one, into the Spider-Verse. She's like, I'm done with Spider-Man.
What was her favorite one? Did she have a favorite of the one that she saw?
She did like the Sam Raimi ones. I think she liked probably Spider-Man 2. Actually, she liked Spider-Man 3. I think she did. I think it was just because it was just so haywire.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 is not as terrible as like people generally say it is. It's not great. I mean, it's kind of a mess, but I mean, there's some spectacular action sequences in it.
All right, so unless we have anything else to add to our list, I think we're possibly could move on, but
not at the moment.
All right, so there we go.
I'm sure they are coming.
There's our kind of our movie forecast, and I have to say everything that was brought up here, I wholeheartedly agree that these are great choices, and I'm looking forward to all of these as well. So yes. Great picks, everyone. All right, let's move on to the next thing we're going to talk about. Hey, everyone, I think it was about maybe it was actually a week ago today that we're recording this. The Oscar nominations came out, and the award ceremony is on March 12th. It's always on a Sunday night, March 12th, and that still gives us about 5-6 weeks or so until the awards. I still have a few movies I'm trying to catch up on. I don't know about each of you, but I'm close.
I've seen several, but I haven't seen all of them. Yeah, I hear you there.
And I spent this past weekend, actually, I watched several of the nominated films. So I think I've seen all but one of the Best Picture nominees, and I'm getting close to seeing all of them by now. But I think let's talk a little bit about the nominations. And basically, first of all, I want to ask each of you, what is your relationship to the Oscars? Ellie, I already know that you're planning on accepting your Best Actress award. I think you got, 2 or 3 years to go? Or what's the timetable?
Something like that.
Something like that. So,
you'll be getting training in the moment.
Yes.
I'm getting my training. So
so do you consider, an Oscar to be the be all end all of of an acting recognition? I mean, this is what I'm always kind of interested in that, because they boil the whole year down for a men's acting award and a women's acting award down to like 5 nominations. And, I find that sometimes kind of problematic. Same thing for directors, all these categories, and it only obviously is awarding mostly not just tentpole movies. There's plenty of independent films that do get recognized, but the nomination process, it's kind of befuddling, how it gets down to this, because there's so many politics that go into this.
Yes.
Why weren't our films? Why wasn't Bad Drones nominated for Best Short or Higher Methods nominated? Like, how does this work? Is this really the best measuring stick for what a good film is still?
No. To be honest, I don't think so. I'm sorry, Sam, but no, I don't think that's a good measuring. I mean, it's fun to watch the Oscars. It's fun
show.
To dress up. It's fun to dress up and whatever. But at the end of the night, that is not what makes you a great director, filmmaker, or an actor. It really, to me, it comes down to this that you're putting out there for the world.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that. I mean, I definitely hear that. I think that like all fields, it's the top award in terms of like recognition and acknowledgement that you can get that field. But I don't think it's the be all and end all. But I understand both perspectives, because a part of me likes the competitive idea of like trying to find the best movie of the year. And even though there are definitely politics in it, I just like that kind of competitive list, and I enjoy just sometimes it's predictable, sometimes it's unpredictable, but I definitely hear what you're saying for sure.
I mean, it is nice to be recognized for your hard work, if you've been studying and training for years and years, and the last of it you get an Oscar. That's great, but I don't think that should be the last.
Absolutely. No, I hear you there. And I mean, for me, I would say this year, just in terms of like Best Picture, the buzz that I keep hearing, and like can't be 100% sure, but it seems to me like the big 3 movies are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once and Spielberg's The Fabelmans has definitely got a lot of recognition. I thought that was incredible, but other than that, I really have no idea what's going to happen. But on a humorous note, as Nathan has left us, he had the option of muting his microphone, but he didn't, and so we can hear. There he is. Now he's coming back. Yeah, boy.
Welcome back to the show.
I'm sorry, everyone. I had to grab something from my backpack. I'm assuming you just kept talking without me about.
We did.
We were talking about you. I was being very obnoxious, as I always.
Yeah.
But what about you, Nathan? What do you think of the awards?
Everything you just said. No. Anyways, honestly, I see, well, especially like the broadcast, I see it as a show. It's entertainment, and I don't see it as a measuring stick at all for what real quality film is. Because, you look at, it seems so arbitrary. A lot of the things that are selected here, and especially, these shows are losing ratings left and right, and I think that it's dictated by politics and what is going to get people to tune in. So I don't have a lot of faith that any of these nominations are truly. I think there's a lot that are dictated by agendas. Getting diversity in here, which I fully support, but I think they're constantly trying to autocorrect mistakes from the past. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it seems like it's constantly trying to course correct year to year to year.
I think it would be nice if they could leave the ghost of the past in the past and just focus on really good films and acting and really nominate, accordingly.
But I think they have made some positive strides to putting in a more diverse people. They've changed the rules and the people that can vote for so nominate people in these awards or can vote for these people in these awards. It's not the same old guard that is always voting for these. So we are getting some better diversity with these. So, I do applaud that, but at the same time, it's, it is what it is. It's still a show that's trying to get ratings. Although I will say this year more than ever, the one thing I will say, which I think it's going to be, I think this year you're going to see an uptick in ratings. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that these windows for releases, like almost every movie here, except for maybe a handful, are all available to watch in one way or another through either streaming or rental. And if you remember, wasn't that long ago where so many films that are nominated, especially Best Picture, these Best Picture nominees, if you didn't catch them in the theater, you'd have to wait until well after the Oscar nominations or well after the show to see these things. True. And it would really, and the problem is so many films that were nominated were not the big tentpole movies. So they were in a tough spot. This year was kind of interesting because, kind of looking at the list of Best Pictures, you've got, for the first time in several years, they expanded the number of movies from 5 to 10 Best Picture nominations, I think maybe like 10 or 11 or 12 years ago. And they really took advantage of nominating some tentpole movies. Like you have Top Gun was actually nominated for Best Picture, which I was actually kind of surprised because that was obviously a big...
I was surprised with that too. I was like, Top Gun was nominated.
Like Best Picture of the year. I know that made like bank, but Best Picture, I was a little bit surprised that got nominated over possibly something else that might have been more worthy. Avatar, Way of Water got Best Picture nomination.
Yeah.
There were Elvis, the movie made a good amount of money. So there were like several movies here that maybe in years past, might not have gotten these. I think I read a statistic that this year's grouping of nominations was cumulative was the highest grossing batch of movies in the history of the Oscars. if you add up all the money. Yeah. Between Top Gun and Avatar alone, I think right there. But all the movies alone, you add up the
I wonder if that's because.
Gross. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, for me personally, I was glad to see The Way of Water up there, not just because it was successful, but for me, it's such a visually spectacular kind of epic sci-fi movie. I certainly don't think it'll win Best Picture, but I remember the first one had been nominated. I was just glad to see it nominated. I think just for me personally, because I like those type of grandiose, epic, visually captivating films that are really about the magic and wonder of movies, you know what I mean? And so and that's on that epic scale. I just like those films, and so I was happy to see it there.
I think this year was really good for cinema because I think we just came out of a pandemic, being stuck at home, not going out to cinemas, and I think people are more comfortable in going out to cinemas now. So, but yeah, I'm gonna be biased, but I'm for the Banshees of Inisherin.
I really love that film. Oh yeah,
love that
I think
film.
that has a really good chance of winning. Actually, I think it could win Best Picture and Best Director. I just have a feeling this Oscars there might be some unpredictability, or it might be a split situation where one movie gets Best Picture and then Best Director goes to someone of a different film. I think too that Everything Everywhere All at Once, it should definitely not be underestimated because that's been such a strong contender.
What a great film that was, and just the message of the whole film. For me, it's just, I think The Banshees was just such a lovely, innocent film,
I think it's coming. I think it's coming down to.
And it's like,
I think it's coming down to Banshees or Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think the movie that I'm scared is going to be this year's Bohemian Rhapsody is going to be Elvis, though.
What happened to Bohemian Rhapsody when you say I missed
that movie won?
Yes, it did.
What did it win? And it pissed me off.
Best Actor.
No,
Rami.
it won another award. And I don't think it deserved to win.
Director? I have not seen. Have you seen Tar?
Because we're a well-oiled machine here.
I will say, totally random comment, but in terms of visual effects, I think it would be criminal if anything other than Avatar: The Way of Water won Best Visual Effects, because the CGI in that is there's sets a bar in terms of like underwater filmmaking.
I do have to agree with you.
It won Best Picture in 2019.
Oh, see, yeah.
That is what?
Yeah.
It won Best Actor, Best Sound Mixing, Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Picture in 2019. And that movie did not need to win Best Picture. No. Anyways, this isn't a Bohemian Rhapsody podcast, but I had major problems with that. And it was not a bad film, but it was like, no.
Wait a minute. Wait, no, sorry. You said it won Best Picture?
Didn't it? I'm looking at the Academy Awards, or did it just win, or is that nominations?
I thought that movie, The Green Book. Wait a minute.
That's before that. Wait, winner, Best Performance by an Actor, Best Achievements in Film Editing, Best Achievements in Sound. Okay, did not win Best Picture because.
Yeah. I just wasn't.
They did.
I don't remember that.
Don't have my act together. Okay.
You're fired.
We call that retraction. What do we call that? We'll take that back.
Retraction. Yeah.
Best. Yeah. So Rami Malek won for Best Leading Role, Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing, Best Achievement in Sound Mixing. It won other big awards that year, but no, too much love.
I saw part of Elvis. I didn't see the whole thing. It was like late at night. I was watching it on HBO.
Elvis was good. Elvis was good. I'm just worried it's going to steal some major awards, and it didn't. I know that Austin Butler won one of the, was it a SAG award or something like that? I forget which it was, but I don't think he's going to win Best Actor. I think that's going to go probably to either.
I couldn't get into Elvis.
Yeah, I think that's going to go either to Colin Farrell or Brendan Fraser.
Well, after watching this past weekend,
but we can jump to Best Acting category. So Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, which I actually saw over the weekend.
How is that?
It was decent. It was heartbreaking. It's about a father and daughter, and they're on this vacation. They go to this resort, and it's kind of told back in this flashback style. And it's clearly the father has these mental health issues, and it's told from the perspective of the daughter who's looking back at these home videos years later, and these clues start to come in that he's not a well man. I don't want to give away anything because a lot of people have not seen this film, but it's kind of heartbreaking because this daughter is 11 years old, and I have an 11-year-old daughter, and their relationship they're close, but there's obviously something under the surface that is not quite right, and you can see that his mental health is breaking. And there's something kind of sad and tragic about this story of this father and daughter. So it was really good. Paul Mescal, who plays the father.
Is it theater?
I rented it. I rented it on Amazon Prime for $5.99.
Cool.
It's not streaming yet. Probably will be eventually, but it was good. It was good. But Paul Mescal is nominated for Best Actor for this, which was kind of a surprise. I had to watch it with the subtitles on. Their Scottish accents were so thick. I watched it for about 25 minutes trying to follow along. I'm like, I can't do it. So I had to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, that's you. Me watching the Banshees. I have to get the captions because their English. I have to read
this was thick Scottish accents. But it was a solid film, and it was a gorgeous film. I would definitely recommend it. But heartbreaking.
Well, I have to say, I did watch The Whale this weekend, as per your suggestion, and I never attended a film where I got so hungry and cried my heart out.
You just saw Brendan Fraser as this big blubbering mess. I'm like, I just want to eat. I want to catch up to this guy.
I kept eating it. I'm like, I'm really hungry watching him eat.
He ordered so much food from that pizza guy. I just want to I want a pizza delivered to me now.
But I find it interesting that they filmed this in just the set. It's just right there.
I can't wait. I hope that I do have a chance to see some. I listened to a podcast where this was Aronofsky, right? Yes, he did a Q&A, and some of how they shot the film. It was all movable sets and stuff like that, and it really gave a good interview about the making of The Whale. And I hope that I can listen to some more about how they did it, because it was.
You see, I love films. I love films where the Banshees is beautiful because of all the landscapes that you see. The Whale, on the other hand, the actors really have to carry that film.
I was surprised that Banshees didn't get nominated for Best Cinematography. Speaking of how it was a gorgeous movie. Yeah,
it's gorgeous, scenery, and I just feel like with movies like The Whale, you gotta have really great actors because they're the ones that will carry the film. So.
Let's talk about actresses in a leading role. We have Cate Blanchett in Tar. Anybody see Tar?
I haven't seen Tar. I've heard incredible things about it, but I haven't yet seen the movie.
And we have Ana de Armas in Blonde, Andrea Riseborough in To Leslie. I haven't seen To Leslie. Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Who here has seen any of these?
Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
I thought Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans was incredible.
Really? Yeah. I love Michelle, but Michelle Yeoh is hello, that woman at her age. I'm like, hello. The way she moves and what she did. Come on.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh is incredible. I actually have not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once yet, so that's
Shame on you.
Shame.
I know, yeah.
Shame.
Come over there.
Shame.
It's pathetic.
We're gonna march you through in Game of Thrones style.
Take me to the Temple of Doom and drop me into the
We're gonna
lava pit.
strip you
That'll be the
naked
next
and throw
podcast.
feces at you in Game of Thrones style fashion.
Film it with a
I actually saw Everything Everywhere All at Once before it hit the movies. Actually.
Oh, you
cool.
Special screening?
Before opening night. Yeah. So you guys didn't know yet about the movie. I had already watched and.
You were part of the future.
You know.
So I mean, is this Michelle Yeoh's Oscar to lose?
Oh.
I mean, I think only Cate Blanchett has a shot at this, possibly. Everyone's saying this is her. This was her role of a lifetime in Tar. I did see Tar, and she was fantastic. Well, she was very good in what I think is a decent movie, but I didn't love Tar. It's a 3 hours of it's a 3 hour slog, I will say. It was not even in my top 25, but I thought it was decent. But I think this is Michelle Yeoh's Oscar to lose this year. Mm-hmm. As much as I thought Michelle Williams was pretty good, not my favorite part of the film, but she was good. I have an unpopular opinion. I actually liked Blonde a lot, and I know it's kind of funny because Blonde seems to be a movie that people either really love or hate.
Yeah.
Mostly hate, but yet it's gotten some awards love this award season, which is kind of interesting, like especially for Ana de Armas. And I think a lot of it there's some hatred toward the writer director, which I'm blanking on right now, of apparently his dislike for women and how he treats the character of Marilyn Monroe in this. That a lot of it was fictionalized, and she did not go through the torment that is portrayed in this film. I think a lot of the reason why I liked Blonde is because, little known fact, I actually co-directed a film that never got released that I made 10 years ago, that we filmed a lot of the scenes that ended up in Blonde. But this movie was so familiar to me because we actually made this movie in a lot of ways 10 years ago. In a small independent, kind of a micro feature. I think it would have been about an hour long if we actually finished it. But the movie never saw the light of day because the producers, I wasn't a producer on it. I was just a co-director on it. I'll tell that story some other day. But the movie never came out. But it really had so many of the scenes that were in this movie we shot in our own way. So this movie kind of resonated with me in a lot of ways. So it's interesting. Anyways, that's kind of went off on this tangent, but I liked Blonde a lot, and I thought Ana de Armas was very good in this. So I'm not surprised she got an Oscar nomination. But anyways,
I loved Blonde actually.
Yeah.
I have no desires to watch Tar. Sorry.
No, it's not. It's kind of like I said. It's kind of a little bit of a slog. We're going a little long here, so let's move along here. Let's just jump over to the best supporting roles. Best actor in supporting role. We have Brendan Gleeson in Banshees of Inisherin, and Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway, Judd Hirsch in Fabelmans, Barry Cogan. He was also in. I can't say his name. My apologies. Banshees of Inisherin and Ki Hoi Kwan in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That is such a hard list because there's two guys that I really would like to see win. I would like to see.
No, I haven't even seen Everything Everywhere All at Once yet. I really want Ki Kwan to win because I like him so much, and I know I'm gonna like. Yeah, I can just feel it. So I want Short Round to win.
You want Short Round to win?
Yeah, I really do. Not even kidding.
Okay.
They got to make the Short Round TV show now. They're talking about this.
I would love to see that. It'd be entertaining as hell.
He says he's game for it. He says he's ready for this.
As an audience member, I would be down in a second for that.
Me too.
The Adventures of Short Round in his 50s now, late 40s. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he could have some crazy adventures, Yeah. It would be pretty awesome.
All right. Sorry, Ellie. What were you saying? You're torn about this.
No, I'm between Quan and Barry and Brandon. To me,
This is a tough one. I have a feeling it might go to Brendan Gleeson. I don't know.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
I don't know, but I mean, how can this really go? Can this really go to Short Round? He was great. I think he was so good in this.
It might, because he won at the Golden Globes, and I mean I know it's no guaranteed foolproof indicator, but it could suggest where the tide is taking us. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It would be nice to see Brandon and Quan win something.
Judd Hirsch was fantastic in his 10 minutes of the movie Fabelmans. He stole his scene, but it was such a small part of that movie.
Yeah, it was so short. Know. I just love that. I want to see that movie again.
He might win it too.
But I don't think I've not heard much buzz around him for this role. Although when I saw him in that and before nominations came out, I said, I bet he might get some love. But I didn't think of him as a supporting role because it didn't have much impact on the movie. Although it was just a fun scene or two in the movies, but I didn't really think he was going to get a nomination. But I listened to an interview with Steven Spielberg. That character of Boris was a real person in Steven Spielberg's life, and he was much more scarier than Judd Hirsch portrayed him. I think Judd Hirsch could not be a scary guy. He's just I just want to hug him,
Yeah, he's too likable. Yeah, I hear you there. Yeah, it's a great actor. Yeah.
So, but a quick little fun fact about Judd Hirsch. If I can pull this up here, but I don't have any of my stuff together. I think Judd Hirsch, this is his first nomination since, I think, Ordinary People, 42 years between nominations.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That would be, and he's the second oldest person to be nominated since Christopher Plummer was nominated, I think, 4 years ago for All the Money in the World, which was an interesting story because if you remember, Christopher Plummer was replaced Kevin Spacey, and he only had weeks to prepare for that role because I remember Ridley Scott had to rush all those reshoots with Christopher Plummer playing that role, and not only did he just jump in, I'll play this part for you, but he did it so well, he got a nomination. So I never saw All the Money in the World, so I am kind of curious how good that. Yeah, I never saw it.
I just imagine the conversation that was had in Mark Wahlberg's hotel room, because he was coming home to his hotel room somewhere in New York, and Ridley Scott was sitting in the room, and he was like, right, so we got to reshoot this. He's like, hey, whatever you want, man. Ridley, I'll do it. If we got to replace him, we got to do it. That's what I think it should be best.
You've been waiting for your Wahlberg impression all episode, right?
I had to plant it somewhere. Yeah.
We'll make sure I set you up for this opportunity every episode. Okay, Sam?
Yes.
That's the plan.
Please do. Okay. Yes. I approve.
All right. So yeah, those are the Best Actor Supporting Role. So we don't really know where that's going to go, but it would be a great story if Ke Huy took that home. That would be pretty cool. Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We got Angela Bassett in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow in The Whale, Carrie Condon in Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu and Everything Everywhere Shu. My apologies. Shu. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Any thoughts on this category? Who should win this? Anybody?
I have to Angela and Chow. That's it.
Hong Chow. I saw her in The Whale, and I said that woman is going to win. Is my thought. Yes. Or should win.
Should win.
As much as I thought Angela Bassett's performance in Wakanda was very powerful. Yeah. And Jamie Lee Curtis was great. And
I think what I love about Hong Shu is her vulnerability in the movie and how she brought that character. It was such a vulnerable moment for her. Like, she didn't have to be powerful, because Angela is powerful in her, in what she does in the movie and the speech. But Hong Shu was just like, I connected more to that character for me. Like, that's just a regular person, any regular person, a nurse, somebody takes care of someone, and the way she just portrayed that, to me, it just touched my heart, and I felt it all the way. So I'd be very happy Hong Shu gets it.
I think she should win it, and I hope she does. I think she will.
Yes.
So we'll see. Yeah. And if she doesn't win it, I think I actually still think there's a chance that they might give it to Angela, but we'll see. Yeah. There's a lot of support for her winning that, but that would be a first time I think any cast from a Marvel film won anything. But I think
wins an Oscar.
I think she actually has a shot. So we'll see. But I do hope that Hong Shu wins. So we'll see. There are other categories, but I think we're just kind of we've going a little long here tonight, and we've touched on the major categories. Did we go over director? I don't know if we need to do that, but I want to say one thing about that. The directing categories, and then I think we'll call it. We have the 5 nominees were Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. Triangle of Sadness was one of the films that I watched over the weekend, some of my catch-up. And how that film got any nominations is beyond me, because I will say I'm not a fan.
What is the movie about? Because
I won't see it, man.
I don't know. I'll tell you what it's about. It's in a summary. It's kind of a takedown of high society in a quick sentence, but it's high society goes out on this boat trip, and things just kind of fall apart on this yacht. And it's hard to explain it beyond that. I can't say much more than that, because halfway through the movie, a major event happens, which would spoil a lot for this. But I did not like this film. And this film is getting a lot of critical praise, and I don't understand why. The only real notable actor in this that people probably know is Woody Harrelson, who plays the ship captain, and just a really befuddling role in this. He plays just kind of a captain that's checked out, that's at the end, as at wit's end, doesn't seem to want to captain the ship anymore, and he's just locks himself up in his cabin, drinking his life away. I don't know what this movie is trying to say. It starts off with a young couple that's arguing over money. One of them is a model. The other one, he's a model. She is just kind of they're both models, but she's just trying to. I don't really know what to say about this film. It's just a very, very puzzling view of how high the differences between high society, like, and the people that are working on the ship, like the lower decks, sort of like, and how they are interacting with these people, trying to keep them happy. And then, like I said, the event happens where kind of like the tides are turned on this relationship between them.
So it sounds like the class warfare element is kind of like a whole problem in the way it's handled.
But it is handled in a very odd way, and the storytelling is bizarre, and I do not like the writing of this. I do not like the way that I didn't like the story of this at all. So anyways, I'm not saying don't watch this. I would love to have a discussion about this film with somebody sometime, but it is a bizarre film, and I don't know, of all of the nominations I see on here, how this movie got a Best Directing nomination is just, I'm scratching my head, especially with all the other films. You know, especially like why you know, some of these other great films that came out this year, why they did not.
Yeah.
Like even I mean, I liked Elvis, and I am surprised, like, even like Baz Luhrmann didn't get Best Directing, you know, or something like that. And
I could be wrong, but I feel like this year it may come down to, it may either be Martin McDonagh's year for Banshees of Inisherin. I could see him winning, but I can also see Spielberg picking up his third as director.
I'd still be surprised with that. I think it's the Daniels or Martin McDonagh. I want to look at the Best Directing. But you never know. They often spread the wealth. But
it's interestingly unpredictable this year, I think, which is
it is. There really aren't that many. I think the only real front runner I see in any category, I think I mentioned before, I feel like this is probably the only category. I feel like Michelle Yeoh is almost a lock for Best Actress. Like, that's the one category I feel. Well, anyways, I think we've talked a lot about the nominations, and maybe when we get closer to the Oscars or after the Oscars, we can have kind of a post-mortem about that. That would be a fun topic to talk about. A couple snubs I'll just mention. I was kind of surprised. No love for Nope. And the Oscars this year, I was a little surprised. There was nothing, no writing, screenplay, or anything for Nope. I was kind of surprised there was no nomination for Best Documentary for Moon Age Daydream, which I thought was amazing documentary about David Bowie, or even for sound editing. It was an incredible documentary. I thought that would have been a shoo-in. Well, anyways, that's all I wanted.
I'm not a fan of David Bowie.
David Bowie rocks. Anyways. All right. So let's get to the last thing we're gonna just talk about, and I sprung an audible on my co-host right before the show began. I think every week we're gonna do a movie recommendation. Each one of us are gonna talk about, just bring a film that we think our audience will love and enjoy, and we're gonna try to tie it into every week the film that we're reviewing. And since we didn't review a film this week, since this is our debut episode, I think the subject for this week's movie recommendation is going to be debut films for a director. And so I think this is kind of a neat way of starting off our show on our inaugural episode. So, Sam, would you like to start off? I think I don't mean to put you on the spot right now, but I'm going to do it. Do you have something you want to send our audience off on to watch this week? And maybe this gives us, it not only is a movie recommendation, but it gives them a little bit of insight into like your movie taste as well.
I don't know if is his debut directorial film, but there's a 1994.
It has to be. Otherwise, it's null and void. I'm only kidding.
It may be. I would have to go back and check, but there's a 1994 action movie called Surviving the Game with Ice-T.
What a
directed
cast.
by Ernest Dickerson. Yeah, it's got a great cast. It's got Ice-T, Rutger Hauer, Gary Busey, Charles S. Dutton, F. Murray Abraham, John C. McGinley, William McNamara, and more. And I enjoy it because I like a lot of early 90s kind of gritty action movies. It was actually fairly poorly reviewed when it came out, but it's directed by Ernest Dickerson, who's done a lot of television as well, several episodes of The Walking Dead. Really good action movie. It's no Deliverance. It's not a great film, but it's a elemental survive in the Pacific Northwest woodlands, and crazy people are hunting Ice-T down in the woods. And I would say my only complaint is the movie collapses under its own weight a little bit in the third act. It kind of falls apart a little bit, but great psychotic performance from Gary Busey.
Yes.
Delivering a speech about how his father taught him to be a man by killing his own dog. So I highly recommend the film. But it's an entertaining action movie. So Surviving the Game, 1994, definite recommend. Unfortunately, there's no Blu-ray of it. You can only watch it in like standard definition. I've tried.
I'll have to share my story of my dinner with Gary sometime.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Really? Oh, epic.
That wasn't just me and him, but I sat across a table from him on a movie set during a dinner on a film we both worked on together. So I'll save that for another. Our show's going along. I'll save that for another episode.
I hear that.
Remind me sometime.
Best line in an action movie really quick is Gary Busey's fighting Ice-T, and they're like fighting near their cabin, which is on fire, and Gary Busey punches Ice-T, and he's like, I prefer my meat rare. Ice-T picks him up, throws him into the fire, and goes, try well done, bitch. Great dialogue.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a great pick, Sam. That was a movie that I watched a lot in the 90s, and I think was probably always on cable. And I would always have, if I was flipping through it, you have to stop and watch it. So yes,
I saw it in the theater, and I was thrilled when it came out on pay-per-view. I watched it again. I stayed up late as a kid and watched it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, Ellie, do you have a recommendation?
But are we talking different decades or now?
Any decade.
Oh, wow. Well, one of the films that I surprisingly got to see this past year, and I rented it from Prime. It's Till.
What's it called?
Yes.
Till.
I've heard of that. I have not seen that.
I know. I have not seen it, but I'm aware of it. It was
was one of those, first of all, I didn't even know the story of Till until I saw the film. And what a way to educate myself about what happened to these young, black men. And it's Danielle Deadwyler is the main actress, and she's amazing. She is a great actress in this film, and it's just what happened to this young boy. I'm trying to think when it was set, what year.
Check it out.
It's so the young boy's name is Emmett Till, and it is based on the true story of Emmett Till Bradley. No, hold on. Yeah, it's based on a true story about the murdering of the 14-year-old Emmett Till in 1955. 1955.
Yeah.
What happened to Emmett? I recommend it. If you don't know what happened to Emmett, watch it. It's just, yeah.
All right. I will put it in my queue. And I'm sorry, Ellie, this is the third film from Chinonye Chukwu, I think is the director's name. So this is not her debut. So you failed the
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted it to be so, you see
it's
how attentive I am?
It's fine. You know, we'll remember this. We'll remember this. The listeners will remember this, but it's fine. This is a good recommendation.
I'm sorry,
this actually is something that I had earmarked from this fall.
Of course I would miss it. It's me. What are you talking
Also, I'm
about?
wrong too. Surviving the Game was not Ernest Dickerson's feature debut.
Oh my God. You know what? You guys had one
Juice.
job. You had one job on our first episode. You know, we're losing the trust of our audience right off the bat. They don't know, how can they trust us? Anyways, you know what? I'm going to save this
because
podcast.
We're just so awesome. Don't trust us because
I'm
we're
going to
awesome.
save this podcast with some genuine, authentic, first debut feature recommendation. Because you know what? Yes. I put some thought, I put some real thought into this. From somebody, from one of the hosts here. Sophia Coppola came out with her first feature, which is one of my favorite films, called The Virgin Suicides in 1999. She went on to do, probably more famously, Lost in Translation a couple years later after that. But this film stars Kirsten Dunst, Josh Hartnett, James Woods, and Kathleen Turner. But it's based on a 1993 novel by Jeffrey Eugenides. I'm going to mess up the name. Jeffrey Eugenides. And I was working at a video store at the time when this was released on home video. And I guess it must have been in the theater. But this film just devastated me when I first saw it. It's a story of about a suburban Michigan family, and they have these very oppressive parents played brilliantly by James Woods and Kathleen Turner. They have these four sisters, and they're just unforgettable in this film. And I can relate to this to some degree because I have two daughters of my own, and I can see the same behaviors, the traditions, the emotions, the rituals that are portrayed in this film by these girls, and as they're entering adolescence, especially one of them, my daughter's right now, that's entering adolescence, you know. And I think about this film more and more as I get older. You know, when I saw this originally, I was in my 20s, and I related to the boys more and more back then. But now, as I'm a father, I see this as a completely different perspective. I obviously relate more now to the parents in this. And I always think about, am I too oppressive to my daughters now? Because the roles have reversed in a lot of ways. It's interesting when you watch films 25 years later or so, and how you interact with them differently. So the title alone does.
From my outside perspective, I can see you as a very impressive figure.
I'm not an oppressive father at all, but I kind of you have to check yourself every once in a while, like how good of a job am I doing, you know? But the title alone does give away kind of a major plot point in this film, so it does come with some big trigger warnings for some. But I think it's a fascinating film that should be watched, and the story is told from the perspective of the neighborhood boys, specifically one of them that is, I think, 25 years later, that's looking back at the events of this film. So it's a really, really good film, fascinating, and I do recommend it. It's Sophia Coppola's debut feature called The Virgin Suicide. So it's amazing. And I think it's really might be Kirsten Dunst's breakout film. I don't know if she was really a household name before this.
What year was it? It was 99?
99, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kirsten Dunst was in 98. She was in Small Soldiers. Really good Joe Dante film, yeah.
Okay. Was she lending her voice to it?
No, she was in it. She was full on like kid in one of the main characters.
That's right. She was in Interview with a Vampire before that too.
Oh, that's way
that's
back.
right.
94.
Yeah, she was a kid then, really young then. But but she was the of the four daughters, the one recognizable name from that. But yeah, it's a really good film. Heartbreaking film, but it's totally worth it. Sophia, definitely recommend. So yeah, so that's my recommendation for a debut feature from a director. So that is
we obviously
Ellie, you and I failed.
Missed that.
You guys
word,
suck.
Tribute.
All right. Well, that's our show, everyone. And I think we can wrap things up. And what you can do is, if you like this show and you like where we're going with this, please, you can find us and follow us on Facebook at Back to the Frame Rate. And we will be releasing episodes, I believe, on Wednesdays. So, yeah.
It's our first show, so, stay tuned. It gets better.
It gets better. It won't be such a train wreck going forward. We'll see.
We'll bring the debuts.
And
say that right.
I may be back, but I'm so important. I will do my best to come back, but I'm so important. I'll try my best, guys.
Well, thank you. You can't say I'm bowing to Sam right now.
First Sam call.
I love myself very much. What can I say?
I think I love myself very much too, Sam.
Yes, that's true.
I think this is why Nathan brought us in.
There's a lot of love here.
There is. The chemistry is just it's amazing. We're like oil and more oil.
Self-love is very important.
Yeah.
Hope never dies.
Okay.
The future is bright.
Let's wrap this up before we hit the 2-hour mark, because, nobody's commute is 2 hours long.
That's true.
Okay.
If they watch Home Alone 2, this podcast is almost as long as Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Oh my God. They've already been found.
Yeah. He had his whole New York adventure in the time we've been talking. Everything that happened in that movie is contained within this time period.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.